Welcome to this week's press conference with head coach Tom Arth. This week, Akron travels to Central Michigan for the Mid-American Conference opener on Saturday, September 14th. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. on ESPN+. Coach, would you like to start with an opening statement?
Sure. Thank you all for being here. Coming off of last weekend, was really proud of our team. Really proud of the fight that we showed, the way that we competed throughout the course of that game. There were a lot of mistakes that we made, a lot of things that we were able to go back and look at tape, and some things that were disappointing to us, some mistakes and some opportunities that we left on the table. But at the end of the day, our team showed great resiliency, showed great competitive spirit, and fought their way back into it, and gave us an opportunity in the fourth quarter to make things interesting, and was really proud of that. I thought defensively, I thought we played very well, particularly in some really tough situations, and some difficult red zone situations, whether it was a miscue in punt or whatever the case was, a short field. Our defense responded each and every time and forced UAB into 3 field goals, 2 of them that they ended up missing, which is absolutely huge for us, and it was a big improvement from week 1, where we didn't perform as well, especially on third down in the red zone. I thought we played the run, really about as well as we could play it. We gave up some explosive plays, and that was really the difference in the game. But I thought overall our defense had a great effort offensively. We need to be able to run the football with more efficiency and more effectiveness. But I thought our passing game, was effective. I thought Cato did a nice job making plays, scrambling, and Dusty, of course, had a fantastic game. So it was good to see. Got a little bit of momentum going on that side of the ball, and just anxious to get back and continue working and continuing to improve.
What do you have to do to make that running game more efficient? It seems to be struggling significantly right now.
I think just continue to emphasize it. It's an area that it's important. It's an important part of a successful offense, and I think an important part of being a successful team is your ability to run the football. And there's been some times I thought the game 1, I thought we did some good things in the running game, and we really struggled to run it effectively this past weekend. So we'll take a look at that and continue to emphasize it, continue to work on it, and some of our passing game as well is an extension of that. So we just need to keep working hard to improve in that area.
Can talk a little bit about the passing game, Coach. Tim Scipio had a nice touchdown catch, and again, you're pretty deep in that area.
Tim, I thought, played really well. Tim has been a player that I've been really excited about since spring practice, watching the way that he practices, and just the ability that he has was really exciting. And unfortunately, kind of caught some injuries in training camp that held him back a little bit, but he's healed up and had a great game this past weekend, and we're excited to continue to work to increase his role, because I think he can be a difference maker for us.
Coach, can you talk about the first 2 drives? You moved the ball very, very well on a good UAB defense, getting the touchdown. And then on the second possession, you moved it until the offense sputtered. Can you talk about finally moving the football as you could not have done in the previous week at Illinois?
I think really in both cases, in both games, I think there were drives where we were successful, and we moved the football, and then there were drives where we didn't. And it's just it's that consistency that we're looking for, really in all phases of our football program, not just offensively, but defensively and special teams as well, that I think is ultimately going to make the difference. And what it comes down to is our ability to execute, our ability to go out there and play with the appropriate fundamentals, and to execute our assignments the best that we can. And I think that's the exciting thing looking back at the tape, is the mistakes that we made, the tough situations that we were in were a result of things that we did to ourselves, and we talk about all the time in our program, self-inflicted wounds, and we've had far too many of those. And you look at Saturday's game, and you review that and the mistakes that we made offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. It's like you're really not giving yourself much of a chance. So until we improve in that area, it's going to be difficult for us to be successful. I mean, if we can't go out there and just get lined up and execute what our responsibility is, without resistance from a defense, it's going to be really hard when a defense goes out there. So we got to focus on those things. We got to focus on eliminating the self-inflicted wounds. We got to focus on our fundamentals and our technique in every situation. I think when we do that, I think we have an opportunity to be a very good offense.
We talked to you yesterday. We taped the show about that onside kick. I mean, there's a couple things happened that could have been really important at the end, but that seemed like was executed perfectly. Had the nice bounce and was up for grabs there. Is that? Yeah,
Corey Smeagol. He had a fantastic kick. It gave us a great opportunity, and those are always, it's hard to go back and say, hey, if we'd have done this, we'd have gotten the ball. I mean, you never know, but he gave us a chance. He gave us an opportunity, and I think had we executed our assignment on that onside kick unit a little bit better, we would have had a better chance to get the football there. So it was good to see Corey execute in that way, and good for us to learn from and teach from. And hopefully we're not in a lot of those situations, but if we are, I think we'll be better for it next time.
How big is he? I mean, I'm down in the field. I didn't know he was a player the first time I saw him.
He's not very big, but he works really hard. His performance means a lot to him. He takes a lot of pride in his preparation and pride in the way that he kicks the ball, and he's done a fantastic job. And he's been a guy that I think that has improved, really every single day, throughout this season. And he was perfect today. He was perfect today in his kicks. He was 6 for 6. So, excited and happy for the work Corey's putting in.
Coach, how do you explain a guy like Dustin Burkhardt had 1 catch each of the last 2 years, and then he has the second biggest yardage performance in school history?
Well, I can only speak for this past Saturday, and I thought Dusty played well. Dusty has been an explosive player for us throughout spring practice and throughout our fall camp, and he's that type of guy that we look to, to create some explosive plays. And I think Saturday was a really good example of that. Opportunity to get him the ball in space, opportunities, where he can stretch the defense vertically. That's where he thrives, and we have to do a good job of continuing to put him in those types of situations.
At this point, what do you know about Central Michigan? And have you ever had a situation as a coach where you start conference play and then switch back to non-conference play? And what's that do to, if anything, to how you prepare?
I don't think it changes how you prepare at all. I'm trying to think. I don't believe I have. But for us, it's more about us. It's more about our team, our program. The things that we can control, and that's our preparation. That's the way we practice, the way we take care of ourselves. If we're playing, Central Michigan or, a non-conference opponent, it really doesn't change our process. We believe in doing things a certain way. And we believe that gives our players the best opportunity to be successful, and we stick to that regardless of a conference game or a non-conference.
What do you know about them?
About Central?
Yeah.
I know they're 1-1. I know they got a great win at home in their opener against Albany. I know they played a really good, really tough, physical Wisconsin team this past weekend. And I think from a overall perspective, I think they're going to be coached really well. Have a lot of respect for Coach McElwain and his staff, and I know that those guys are going to be playing at a high level, and they're going to be really difficult to defend, and they do some different things on defense that we have to be prepared for and have to have a plan for.
Because we were not able to hear the explanation up where we were, but the turnover pencil. The takeaway pencil. Okay, the takeaway pencil. How did that come about?
Probably should ask Jordan back there. Jordan, come on up and give an explanation for that. But I think number one, understanding that it is it is not a turnover pencil. We do not defensively refer to interceptions or fumble recoveries as turnovers. That implies that the offense is giving it to us, and we spend too much time practicing those situations and working our tackling technique, our strip attempts, all those things where we feel that it's a takeaway. We are taking the football away, and we take a lot of pride in that. And the language is important. And our defensive staff and really kind of came up with that idea, and I think it's fantastic. Coach Rodriguez had a big part in that, and I think you look at a pencil. And it's a number 2 pencil. It's about as foundational as anything can be. And when you talk about our program and what our foundation is, it's built on fundamentals. It's built on technique. And I think a pencil is a really great representation of that. And I know our defense has had a lot of fun with that and kind of talking about that going through camp. And there's more to it than just the pencil. But it's something that means a lot to us, to our team. It means a lot to our defense and our defensive players, and we're just it further emphasizes what's important in our program.
Everybody else better stay out of the way of it. I don't know if you saw someone nearly got impaled with that thing on the sideline there. So
yeah, takeaways happen when technique meets awareness, and our guys I think have pretty good awareness on the defensive side of the ball, so I don't think we have to worry too much about that.
We're going into week 3. Are there any positions that are still up for grabs, or is it pretty well set now on what you're going to go with? Or
no, I think every week things change. And we're still learning. We're still learning our team. We're still learning who can perform and what roles that they can perform their best in. So I think you're going to see that throughout the season, and that's a result of just certain people stepping up in one way, leading to increased responsibility in another way, or an injury, or just a matchup. Whatever it is, you're going to see different people taking on different roles and different levels of responsibility within our offense, defense, and special teams. So, to answer your question, I'd say no. I mean, I don't know if any job is just is locked up and and all that. I mean, we need to come out every day and compete and earn that role. And and younger players and other guys that are maybe 2s or 3s are constantly pushing to increase their roles and increase their opportunities. So I think that's what you need. You need to have that level of competition within your program.
You mentioned countering Central's defense. What do they do specifically that you've noticed?
Well, I think they do a number of different things. We see them. They play in multiple fronts. They're a pretty aggressive defense. When they're bringing pressure, they're coming. They're timing up blitzes, and their DBs or their linebackers are hitting it on the run. So we have to do a good job being ready for some of the pressures that they're going to bring. They'll play some press coverage and try to choke you out at the line of scrimmage and make you hold on to it and allow their rush to get home in some passing situations. And then they'll mix up the front a little bit that that affects the run game. So they provide a great challenge for us, as every defense that we see. Every defense that we see provides a unique and a different challenge. But I think in going up against Central Michigan, again, we have to be aware of what they do and aware of who they are and their personnel. But whether it's Central Michigan or anybody else, it starts with us. It starts with our program. It starts with our players understanding what their responsibility is within our call, and going out there and executing it to the best that we can. And I know that if we do that, I think we'll put ourselves in good position.
Any other media questions? Would anyone from the class like to ask Coach Arth a question? Raise your hand. All right, a brave soul. Here you go.
After an 0-2 start, what is your message to your team now going on the road to face a conference team?
Well, I think the message remains the same. as it always has been. And I think that's the beauty of our program, of the foundation that we've built around our program is the message never changes. Our way is about, our commitment to excellence, the belief that we have in ourselves and each other, and the will that we have to be the best that we can be. So whether you're 0-2 or 2-0, that message doesn't change. And for us right now, it's really, understanding, okay, what are the things that we're doing really well? What are the areas that, we need to emphasize as a program? And right now, as I look at our team, what I see as the strengths of our team is our resiliency, our fight, our competitive spirit, the will that we have, to be successful. And, the areas where we need to improve are the consistency and the execution, and eliminating some of the the self-inflicted mistakes that we've talked about. So it's understanding okay, what's most important and what are the things we're doing well, how do we emphasize those, but also saying where are we making the mistakes and why. And it's important as a coaching staff to evaluate that. Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing as coaches that may be contributing to our players making mistakes? Players, what are we doing or what are we not doing in our preparation that's leading us to make mistakes? And we have to evaluate that constantly, across all levels of our program, and put a plan in place to improve and make a commitment to that plan, to go out there and to find ways to get better and to find ways to improve. And again, whether you're 0-2 or 2-0, that's the same message that we have. And to our guys' credit, I feel great about our team. I feel great about where they're at mentally, and I think they recognize where their strengths are. I think they recognize the things that we have to do to improve, and it's our job now to go out and prepare every single day with that improvement in mind. And if we do that, I would expect us to have more success.
Any other questions?
So I know special teams has been kind of a topic of concern here recently. What are we planning on doing for Central Michigan? Are we working on possible player change or just better execution?
Well, I think that in the kicking game, we've had some executional issues, just in terms of we've missed some punts, we've missed some kicks, things like that. I think if you look across the board, we've dropped some returns, whether it's a kickoff or a punt. We've had some issues just in some of within the specialist group, and I think the position players who are out there who are playing in those units have been playing really hard and have been working really hard in those areas. And I think that we have talented players returning. We have talented players kicking the ball, talented players punting the ball, and it's just being consistent, right? Being consistent, and going out there, and when the team's counting on you, you got to deliver. And that's across the board for every player in our program, every coach in our program. We're all counting on each other to deliver when our number's called, and we just have to do a better job in that. It's really that simple. And I think we had a much better day today, in that regard. So hopefully that'll translate for us on Saturday.